Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called, Why Are You Consuming Food Solely with Your Right Hand? Written by 97C Webb.
Why are you consuming food solely with your right hand?
Arthur, mid-bite, put down the sandwich he brought with him on his first day aboard the Borderland, an average-sized research and exploration vessel belonging to the Bordeaux. Turning around, he notices the ship's liaison officer staring intently at him, but seemingly slightly off focus, looking around. Arthur finally realizes that it was the Bordeaux that was talking to him.
Your right hand, why is it being used to eat?
Arthur, finally clearing his throat, replies, I'm right-handed.
Is this an oddity amongst your people? This is caused by a natural deformity or tendency for certain individuals.
No. It is actually more common to be right-handed than left-handed. As for why I don't know. Probably not a deformity or something being wrong. Just some people are left-handed. It is usually not even thought about. Why are you asking anyway?
Your flag. It is confusing. It is a blue rectangle with an odd symbol in its center. Upon second contact, where we visited your intergovernmental organization, we saw that it was a drawing of your left hand. We thought there was some form of right-handed under-society somewhere in your territory.
Arthur, realizing that this was being a long discussion, replies, that. How about I finish my lunch, and then we can go to your office and discuss this. This will probably be a bit of a conversation. Ideally, you could look it up, but I'm pretty sure that the science guys are still trying to create a text translator. By the way, what is your name?
My name is Spot, and I look forward to this discussion later. I'll see you in about 23 minutes.
Spot finally moved and stopped staring so intently at Arthur, as her mind switched over to movement, allowing Arthur to finally relax. Having a conversation with someone that stares so intently and does not even blink is quite tiring and stressful, especially with their void black eyes. Arthur finished eating his sandwich, glad that he'll be working on the engine, where he won't have to be in deep conversation regularly with these, beings. Arthur made his way to Spot's office. Like everything else, it was utilitarian. Basic desk and chair, and a tablet plugged into it. Sitting down across from Spot, he adjusts his chair so he is facing a part of the wall behind Spot, rather than directly towards. Silence reigned. Eventually, Arthur said, So about that flag? Spot suddenly looked at him and stopped again. After a few seconds, she said,
Continue.
Arthur, slightly nervous about his surroundings, took a deep breath and let out a long sigh. People in general are not left-handed. About 10% of people are, maybe 15%. It is not well tracked, and as to why, I don't know. But I don't think it is well known either. No, the reason why the flag has a left hand on it is a long story. Originally, the United Nations, or UN, had a different flag. Same goal as an organization. A lot less effective, though. Each country had to back it, and in reality, it was reduced to a massive pile of bureaucracy after its major events after World War II. It helped nail down certain...
Wait, World War II?
Spot replied. With the most emotion Arthur has ever seen in the Bordeaux. Yes, almost had a third. One country thought one part of their population and their ideas was better than anyone else's. Their allies agreed to help. Big war. Lots of dead from around the world. Eventually ended with 2 nuclear bombs being dropped. I don't know the details. It was over 200 years ago. Spot jumped out of his chair, launching herself into the back corner of the seating and, wedging herself into the corner, froze solid, with a look of fear and shock in her eyes, which were still firmly affixed to the back of Arthur's head. Arthur slid and scraped the chair to the left so that he could see Spot out of the corner of his eye, and continued talking. Yes, I know, very scary. I cannot go into details right now, and probably shouldn't. If you want, I can try and get you connected to a historian or something later. If I go into all the tangents, I'll have to go into the entire history of humanity. Aside from tech breakthroughs, I know little of it. Anyways, back to the flag. The flag of the United Nations, at this time, was a map of Earth, with the North Pole in the center, with olive branches around it. The olive branches are a sign of peace, and has been used as a symbol for such for an extremely long time. The blue was chosen to be the opposite of red, which is usually war. It also fills in the oceans, which affects everyone, and is owned by no specific country, making it more of the UN's territory even though they don't hold land. After Mars's surface and Venus's atmosphere were colonized, and after they broke off and formed their own governments, and a few more colony ships were sent out to nearby star systems, they too wanted to be represented by the UN. Due to this, new flag designs needed to be made. Around this time, First Contact was met with the Forgo. They were in distress as they were being pursued, and we offered to help. As they crossed into our territory, we decided they fell under our laws. Their space was still treated like ocean back on Earth in times past. Anyone who can help was brought in to help, regardless of differences. Someone lost at sea is worth rescuing. Whenever you feel comfortable coming down from the ceiling, you can. Spot, realizing that she was shaking from the continuous strain of holding herself up in the upper corner of the room, finally unlocked and made it back to her seat. Arthur shifted around in his chair again and waited for Spot to stop moving. After the Forgo were rescued, the pursuers arrived. We later found out that they were the Tyrants, a fitting name for them, just missing with the T at the end. Pretty much this area's harassers. Mainly a bunch of hot air with a few teeth attached. We started with them diplomatically, but talk slowly devolved. Eventually, they decided to do a murder-suicide attempt on the diplomats, which worked, except that our diplomat survived with a sucking chest wound, and everything was caught on camera. Now, it is really hard to frame someone for murder when the entire thing was caught on camera, and the murderer went on a long speech about their superiority and mandated right to rule over all they survey. They quickly decided that the entire thing was rigged and declared war by shooting the station the diplomats were in. Now, you probably have only heard rumors about this, but one thing we are good at is finding unique ways to do war. To the point we actually had to make rules for it, so wars are not the end of all of us. We've been fighting, skirmishing, and warring since probably the third day people could talk to each other. If you have 3 people, there will always be 8 factions formed. Go look it up, and it's 100% true, to a certain point. So when the galactic body decided to go to war, we begrudgingly followed, with our rulebook. It takes a lot to get all of us motivated to do something together, but shooting down our international diplomat station works. We talked to the Fargo that we rescued and learned that they like to use lasers and plasma, as they like to put on a show, and put on a show is how best to describe their tactics. More of a singled-out swarm and kick the one who's down. After we sent a few asteroids through their fleets of Gawkers, they quickly started to break apart. Lasers are only really good at 3 things: popping popcorn if continuously focused, reading data disks, or creating a light show. We went to all the extra work of making our ships more durable, more reflective, and invested heavily into ablative armor. First battle we were in, we found out that we used more powerful lasers in rock concerts for fun than what they shoot. Spot, looking nervously around the room, asks, "What is the meaning of rock concert? You have singing rocks on your planet?" "No, it's a type of music performed by other people. Maybe I'll talk later about that. Music in and of itself is so large, people dedicated their entire lives to a specific time period of genre for study. Anyway, back on track. I'll get to the left hand soon." So now that we know that we don't have to fear them, we go straight in and find their main fleet. It does not take long, as it seems their entire ship design was for quick skirmishes, and then head back to the main base to restock. They were not designed for long excursions or for pursuit. The fleet we caught was an asteroid. We just followed them back. Once they lit us up with lasers, but we just sat there. Slowly, the ship's hull started glowing, but still nothing happened. Eventually, their entire fleet ran out of power to throw at us, so we shot one big one and started heading for a planet that looked important, after we threw a rock at their shipyard. They surrendered immediately, giving us a bunch of planets near our border. We made them clean up their laws and went on our way. Those living on planets we were given were terrified of us, hiding in wreckage as long as Red Cross ships descended. We eventually got them to understand that these were for health and help. As soon as that was realized, we found out that the planets we were given was made up of over a dozen species, ranging across most of the Tyrant's territory. Seemingly, after they locked these species into the lowest class and forgot about them there, except to mock, scoff, and threaten them. We healed millions, reunited families that were rent asunder decades ago, and so much more. After the war and its aftermath settled, the idea of flags was brought back up. Humanity decided to keep the blue background of the old UN flag for both its historical reasons and also to show the heritage. The main design became a competition to create a new emblem. Eventually, the left hand was chosen. An outstretched hand leaning forward is the symbol for helping those who are down to bring them back up. It is also the symbol of agreement, as handshakes are used to close deals and agreements from those between friends right up to intergovernmental trade agreements. Now, both of these things do not relate to the left hand directly. Helping others can be done with either, and handshakes are done with the right, usually. The left hand was chosen based on the reason behind why a youth organization uses it too. Scout organizations around the world use left handshakes and greeting each other based on the same reasoning. The left handshake is one of bravery and respect. The left hand is one where a person would hold their shield, while their right hand was for their weapon. With the right hand, you show 100% trust and agreement, having nothing but your shield to protect you. With the left hand, you show respect and bravery through lowering your defenses and offering the side of your chest with your heart towards them, but still maintain the ability to retaliate if the other does so. The hue chosen was the average of the skin tone people have, and also that of the medicine wheel. The colors red, yellow, black, and white have the significance for a very long time around the entire world. Choosing a specific color was always going to be an issue of racism, so choosing it based on all of the colors being averaged seemed to have prevented the issue. And so, humanity flies now under a blue flag with a tanned brown left hand on it, not because we were always caring, but because we can. We try to trust, but will take action if no one else will. That is what it means to be human. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.